Welcome to Management Consulted. I'm Jenny Ray, the Managing Director. And today we're going to have a fun conversation about why you might be interested in going into consulting. I'm going to talk about this from the perspective not of any one of the firms, but about why consulting can be a good career choice in general. And I can talk about it a little bit in terms of my own perspective, as well as the perspective of many clients that I've had the opportunity to advise over my years managing director at Management Consulted. Now, one of the key focuses for why people are interested in going into consulting is great business training. I was a rambunctious entrepreneur that traveled the world, shaved my head, and wrote a book about it. And the pitch for someone who was working at McKinsey when she got me to apply to the big three firms for consulting was, you're really doing a great job with what you're doing now. Wouldn't you love to have tremendous access to core business leadership modules? And I found that to be very true. In my time at Bain, I was able to work on 11 projects. We had an upfront training that was on-site. We had an off-site annual training. We had almost monthly trainings on key aspects of the professional career. And then we just had a tremendous mentorship culture where I was really able to have access to experts in fields that were covering multiple different industries, different practice areas, and also even some of my peers who were just 1 or 2 years ahead of me that had a lot of skills that I was able to glean from while I was there. It's excellent business training, not only if you're interested in going into a large business setting in the future where it's definitely the best fit, but also if you're interested in becoming a nonprofit manager, if you're interested in doing fundraising, or if you're interested in entrepreneurship. Many people from my class went on to do different things. Every single one of them went on to do something dramatically different from one another. And the core focus for all of them is that as we've gotten back together over the years, we've said, our core consulting toolkit has been one of the most critical keys to our success in whatever field we chose after leaving consulting. The second reason why a lot of people choose consulting is that it offers an accelerated career path. 1 year in consulting is the equivalent to 3 years in industry. They're like dog years. You just get a lot more out of a year in consulting. And so a lot of people will come, especially early in their career, to really accelerate or leapfrog what they would otherwise be doing. It creates a little bit of an uncomfortable divide sometimes because the clients as a consultant that you're working with are often much older than you are because of this 1 to 3 year differential. But the great thing about it, if you do go into consulting, is that often after spending 2 to 3 years or even 5 to 6 years in consulting, you often have the opportunity to really advance quickly inside an industry organization. And you also have the ability to enter an industry organization at a very, very senior level, despite your still very young age. In addition, one of the key focuses is that consulting is an excellent place for professional growth. When I was thinking about going to Bain, someone very wise said, when you go to Bain, don't just pay attention to the advice that Bain gives to other companies, pay attention to how Bain runs Bain. And one of the core parts of being a consultant is constant professional feedback. You receive feedback in the early days of consulting every month. You receive feedback on a normal basis at the end of every project, which could be every 3 months, at the midterm point in your year, and at the end of the year. So you could go 1 year and you could have 4 to 8 times where the actual training would happen, where they're giving you impact and feedback on your own professional development. So that creates a real acceleration in terms of your understanding of your strengths and weaknesses on the job and how you have opportunities to develop. In addition, the scope of projects that you have access to as a consultant and the variety that you work on gives you the ability to touch a number of different industry and practice areas so that you can not only become more skilled, but also better determine what you might be interested in doing in the future. So for all of these reasons, I was an entrepreneur before. I've returned to run and manage small businesses, but my core focus and my ability to do a lot of that in an accelerated way, I really attribute to my time in consulting. So thanks again for joining us today. Really appreciate having you. If you have further questions, please visit us on the website at managementconsulted.com and stay tuned for future weeks of our consulting video series.